Canadian serial killer Robert Pickton, notorious for the gruesome murders of 49 women, has died at the age of 74. Pickton was serving a life sentence at a maximum security prison when he succumbed to injuries sustained in an assault by a fellow inmate. Pickton's criminal history is one of the darkest chapters in Canadian crime. Operating a pig farm in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, he lured vulnerable women, many of whom were sex workers from Vancouver's downtown east side, to his farm under the pretense of safety and employment. Once there, he brutally murdered them, with investigators later finding human remains scattered across his property. In 2002, Pickton was arrested and subsequently charged with the first-degree murders of 26 women. Although convicted of 6 murders in 2007, he openly claimed to have killed 49, nearly reaching his twisted goal of 50. His heinous acts sent shockwaves through the nation, leading to widespread criticism of the police for their handling of the cases. Many argued that systemic bias against the victims, who were primarily Indigenous women, delayed the investigation and allowed Pickton to continue his killing spree unchecked. His trial was one of the most expensive and complex in Canadian history, drawing attention to the plights of marginalized communities and sparking calls for better protection and resources for vulnerable populations. The aftermath of his conviction saw numerous reforms aimed at improving the investigative processes for missing persons, especially those from high-risk groups. Pickton's death has reignited discussions about prison safety and the ethics surrounding the treatment of infamous inmates. While some see his death as a closure for the victims' families, others feel it highlights ongoing issues within the correctional system, such as inmate violence and the effectiveness of rehabilitative justice. As news of his death spreads, the legacy of his crimes remains a grim reminder of the horrors inflicted on the victims and their families. Robert Pickton's story continues to serve as a somber call to action for the protection of society's most vulnerable and the pursuit of justice for all victims of violent crime.